Ep7 of the Parks and Bennis podcast, and we're going to be trendsetters in the prediction world this season. And we are here tonight to discuss our Premier League predictions for the following season, plus go through some of your hill to die on. You know what I'm trying to say about what's going to happen over the next 12 months in the Premier League. For this prediction podcast, I'm once again joined by Aaron. How are you?
I'm doing good, mate, yeah.
Good. And I'm joined by Soggy Biscuit Group Chat extraordinaires here. Owen Doyle, how are you doing, mate?
I'm doing well, mate. Doing well.
Yeah, and I think Alfie's been mentioned on every podcast, and even probably hasn't even been on all of them. So, how are you doing, Alfie?
I'm not doing too bad, to be honest. Until I hear where everyone has West Ham, I'll be doing all right.
For any of you who don't know, we're all part of a group chat on Instagram with our respective Instagram pages, and we just argue all day about football, mostly about Declan Rice or whatever the topic might takes us that evening. So we're going to do in a verbal form in a podcast tonight and discuss where everyone's got everyone in the Premier League for the following year. As such, we're going to start from the bottom team, who we all got at bottom, and then go right to who we've got top of the table. So, bottom place. So, how we'll do this, we'll go from Aaron to Owen to Alfie, and then to me, who I've got. So, Aaron, who's going to finish bottom of the Premier League?
I've got Fulham bottom of the league. If they prove me wrong, fair play. But so far, their squad's looking pretty poor, not Premier League standard. I don't think Scott Parker's very good. They'll get goals in Mitrovic, but again, there are certain clubs in the league that almost definitely ride on a good transfer window, and Fulham are definitely one of those clubs. So obviously, there's still 6.5 weeks left of the window. They could still sign the players to stay out, but at this point in time, I just don't think they'll have enough. So I've got Fulham bottom of the league.
Owen, who have you got bottom?
I've got West Brom.
Nice, okay.
I just think, Fulham, you've got your Premier League proven striker, so I don't think they'll finish 20th. I just don't think Slaven Bilic is a very good manager, personally. I have to think Scott Parker's better. So,
sure.
I think they're going to finish bottom.
Okay, Alfie?
I'm in agreement with Aaron, and I'm pretty sure most football fans here. Fulham, 20th. I was happy when they won the playoff final because I knew they did well. I think they'll do terrible in the Premier League, and because I wanted Ben Rama. So yeah, Fulham bottom. I've not got much to say about them. I think they will get some goals, as Aaron said, in Mitrovic, but for me, they're just not good enough in most positions on the pitch. I do think Scott Parker will end up being a decent manager, but he's quite inexperienced at the moment, and that's all I really have to say. Fulham 20th.
I've got Fulham bottom. The reason I've got Fulham bottom is because though every single year, without fail, a team comes up and thinks they're going to conquer the world with 80% possession and win the league and do out all kinds of untold brilliance. And this year it's Fulham, and they're not going to do that. They've got a good striker, Mitrovic, who I like, and I think he'll nick them a few games here and there. I think they've got a lot of functional players in midfield. I think if they're going to sign Harrison Reed, then maybe I'll have them a place above that. And yeah, I just don't. I can see them getting run over quite easily by teams who have just got better players than them. And I feel like if they're going to try and play the same way as they did in the Championship, which was mostly having over 65% of the ball in most games and 500 passes, they're not going to get away with that as easily in the Premier League as they would do in the Championship. And again, Scott Parker, who's very inexperienced, done a good job so far, but I just think Fulham are the weakest team in the league. Aaron, who have you got? 19?
It was kind of a toss-up between pretty much the two promoted sides. In 19, I've got West Brom. But again, they're one of the sides that could change depending on a good window. In comparison to Fulham, to be fair, I don't see who's getting the goals. Mateus Pereira is a very good player. He'll create plenty of chances, but I think their current striker is Charlie Austin. These players aren't Premier League standard. They've been linked to Troy Deeney. I think it's very likely he ends up there, but unless they get a lot of penalties, I don't think he's going to be the man to score the goals to keep them up. And then you look at the other end of the pitch. Slaven Bilic was kind of renowned at West Ham for being poor defensively. So yeah, I think I could very well see them finishing bottom below Fulham, just because Fulham have Alexander Mitrovic. So it's a difficult one, but at this point in time, I just don't think they've got the quality to stay up.
Okay, Owen, who have you got 19th?
Fulham. Fairly
Okay.
confident now. They're going to go down. They could be anywhere from 18th to 20th, but as you said before, they're just not really Premier League quality. Got through in the playoffs, and I just don't see them staying up.
Right, okay. Alfie?
I've once again gone with what Aaron's gone for, and I've gone for West Brom. I did watch a lot of West Brom last season because we had Dean Garner out on loan there, and to be honest, they really aren't that great. Some matches in the Championship they were actually quite poor, like against Huddersfield the other week. They almost actually bottled promotion despite being so far clear of Brentford. As Aaron said as well, they don't have any goal scorers. I think their top scorer last season was, I want to say Charlie Austin with 9, but don't quote me on that. And that's just really not that great, even in the Championship. One thing I will say though, Mateus Pereira, that guy, he's going to play this season at West Brom. Then he's going to get a move to a big club. He's going to create as many chances this season as Buendia did last season. He's going to score 8 goals and he's going to get 7 assists. And every big club will want him. He's
Fairly
a brilliant
confident on
footballer. Yeah, I'm
Very
confident on that.
specific.
Alfie, this is all on record. You know, you can't lie about this and say you didn't say this.
No, yeah.
You've been quoted.
He's going to do excellent this season. And to me, he's the only thing that's keeping me from putting West Brom very far down on 20th. They're better players like Kravinovic and Dean Garner are no longer at the club.
I think Kravinovic is about to sign a permanent deal, to be fair.
Oh, is he? Oh,
I think so.
Well, anyway, Robinson's also not there anymore. Don't think that's a very big loss, to be fair. But he got them some goals. And yeah, I just don't think, as Aaron said, they've not got anyone who can score them goals. And Bilic's teams are not often good defensively. And they also don't cover a lot of distance. And I think to stay up at the moment with the lack of quality they have in the Premier League, they will need to be covering a lot of distance, sort of changing their style of football a little bit. And I don't think Bilic will do that. So for me, the West Brom will come 19th this season.
Yeah, by next season he'll have forgotten how to run like West Ham did. Jesus,
Yeah.
vocal coach. Yeah, but I've got West Brom 19th too. I think it's just the quality issue, and the reason I haven't got them bottom is, to be totally honest, as I think a couple of lads who put in the Twitter hill to die on type of things have said, I just don't see Slaven Bilic lasting the season there. I just feel they're the type of team that love to have these 5 to 10 year spells in the Premier League of not doing very much. And to be honest, if they want to do that again, Slaven Bilic isn't the answer, because he's not really, I wouldn't say, good enough to keep them there with their current squad, because I just feel quite limited. There's still sort of like hangovers of the Tony Pulis era where they were very functional, they really passed the ball a lot, and mixed to that with some Championship players, I just don't see them having enough. I think they'll be better than Fulham because of that experience, man, but I just look at them and I think that you're a bit weak. I think they'll concede a lot of goals under Bilic. The reason I've got them over Fulham is because I think there'll be a lot of sort of low margin games where they'll edge over Fulham, because I just don't think they'll want to keep the ball as much as Fulham. But I don't know. I think it could be either them or Fulham bottom. Before Fulham came up, I did have West Brom bottom, but we'll see. I think West Brom will go back down. No. I wish them good luck as well, because I did say when they sacked Darren Moore that I hope they never return to the Premier League, but they have done, so good luck to them. Aaron, who have you got filling the last relegation place, which I think is going to cause more controversy amongst the four of us than the previous two?
I've got Aston Villa 18th because for me last season they were lucky to stay up. They got away with Watford and Bournemouth just being even worse than Villa were. Again, so far there's still a lot of time in the window left, but so far they haven't strengthened. Jack Grealish will probably be excellent again, but apart from that, I don't see where the goals are coming from. Tyrone Mings and Ezri Konsa, I think, will be their main two centre-backs. And for me, they just aren't that great. So I think it'll be a similar season than last, but they won't have the luck that they did, with VAR. They got very lucky with that. So yeah, for me, I don't think Villa will have enough to stay up.
Okay, Owen?
You're not going to like this. I've put Newcastle 18th. Yeah. I don't see Steve Bruce lasting the season. I see teams like Villa spending a lot more than them this window. Because obviously that billionaire deal collapsed. Don't think Newcastle have that proven goal scorer. Don't think they'll get it this window. Don't think Alan St. Maximum's that good of a player. Quite good in defence. And I think that'll help them, but I think they'll go down. They'll go down to the last day, but I think they'll go down.
Right, okay. Alfie all day has been going on about this team who he has 18th, and he won't shut up about it. Can't, mate, to say who you've got 18th. In line the world.
Well, I'm quite thankful now that someone else did have the same team 18th as me.
No.
Because I do have Newcastle 18th. I'm going to be posting this on my Instagram account. So in advance, Newcastle fans, please get your tears ready. Start crying because I have you 18th.
Get rid of your Saudi flags, please.
Yeah.
Right. Pricks.
I'm going to try my best to explain why I've got them 18th. And we had them first game of the season, so it's going to come back to bite me. But once again, I don't think they'll get away with not having a goal scorer this season. I don't think they have anyone who can get double digits at all, or even get close to it. Steve Bruce, he had a decent first season, but I think there's better quality of managers overall in the Premier League this season compared to last season, and I think he's going to get caught out a little bit. They got quite lucky with a few wins as well. I don't think they'll get that. They've got some decent defenders, some decent central defenders, but they've lost Jetro Willems, who was one of their better players last season as well, and now they're quite weak in the full-back areas too. I do rate their central midfielders in Shelvey and Hayden, not the Longstaff brothers, who are about as good as me at football.
They're bad.
Yeah, thank God Matty didn't come to us.
Or to us.
But yeah.
Or to us.
So, I don't see them scoring enough goals. I don't think they're particularly good at anything. And when I've just looked at all the other teams and the signings they've made and how they've improved towards the end of the season, I don't see any of them, bar possibly Aston Villa, doing worse than Newcastle this season. So I've got Newcastle 18th.
Right, okay. 18th place I've gone. It won't be a surprise to anyone to wear this, but Aston Villa.
I guessed it.
I have no idea how they stayed up. I don't know how we're talking about Aston Villa being a Premier League team again. I think it's because of Jack Grealish. So if he manages,
no, it's because of goal line technology.
And Jack Grealish. If Jack Grealish goes in the next couple of weeks, I'm putting these even below Fulham. I'm putting them below whoever's finishing top in the Championship. They'll be that bad. They're a pathetic team, pathetic coach. My word, how's he managed to survive a year in the Premier League? I'll never know. They weren't particularly. They improved defensively towards the end, but they still weren't great. And they won't have the fans of Villa Park, the legendary 12-man. So, in my opinion, the last relegation place will be Aston Villa. 17th, go ahead, Aaron.
I've got Newcastle 17th. I can't see them being in a relegation battle. They don't have a great squad. But for me, what sets them apart from Villa is the coach, really. I mean, I'm not saying Steve Bruce is great, but he'll keep them stable, keep them solid defensively. They'll grind out a few results. I don't see the same happening for Dean Smith. But, they don't have a goal scorer. Joe Linton's not been good. I don't think he's been Howard, but he's not been good. They equally, Villa's the only real player Villa have in attack is Jack Grealish. So I simply think they'll grind out enough results to stay up. Steve Bruce has done a good job so far. He won't be as comfortable as he was last season, but I just think they'll have too much compared to Villa.
Yeah, Owen?
I've got Aston Villa 17th, and this is based on Jack Grealish staying. I think if they don't stay, I think they'll be going straight back down. But injuries really hurt Aston Villa last season. Obviously, John McGinn. I think he's one of the best midfield, like their best midfielders. Douglas Luiz, Grealish and McGinn. Obviously a great trio. Wesley got injured last season.
Well, he got
he's not the best striker.
Goals against us, didn't he?
Yeah. And obviously they're not the best in defence, but I think they're a bit better than Newcastle, so I don't see them going down, but I think it'll be tight.
Alright, okay. Alfie, go ahead, 17.
Once again, I'm in agreement with Owen Doyle. I have Villa 17th, and I'm hoping they go down, can I just say. Basically, what you've just said, they've got Jack Grealish, and apart from that, they don't have a whole lot. Douglas Luiz finished the season really well, to be fair to him. And you could say they've got a few good midfielders in Grealish, Luiz and McGinn, which is definitely their strong point. But in the other areas of the pitch, I think they're really weak. I think their wingers are some of the worst in the division, especially El Ghazi. God, he's awful. Yeah, scored against Everton.
Did he?
Their defence... Yeah.
He did, yeah.
I weren't paying attention.
Their defence, in my opinion, well, it's a fact, they're not that good. Towards the end of the season, they started doing a bit better, but that's because Dean Smith literally had to change his game plan, and they got a lot of luck with that as well. I think Dean Smith will try and play a similar sort of football that he played towards the start of last season again, hoping that it works this time, and eventually revert back to the boring football that Villa fans are not accustomed to. So Villa, to me, aren't a great team, but once again, unfortunately, I think they'll stay up by the skin of their teeth, and I think they'll make a couple good, unfortunate, to me, signings in the rest of the window. I think they'll get Ollie Watkins, and I think that overall will keep them up.
Shame, eh? I'm just going to blow everyone's minds off right this second. So, 17th place is Leeds United. Right. Leeds United will be around 8th on Christmas Day. And then by the end of May, they'll be 17th because they'll have forgotten how to play football. Because that coach who apparently created football and gave everyone legs and told everyone how to pass the ball will just become what he is a bang average coach who is massively overhyped for on the one basis he plays loads of passes. He's done a good job at Leeds, but his luck's about to run out. They're going to finish 17th this season, and hopefully that means then Everton can sign Calvin Phillips, and then it's everyone's. So I've got Leeds 17th. They could finish a bit higher. He could easily go down. I'm not as sure on Leeds as everybody else is, so we'll stick with 17 for now. Aaron, take away 16.
16th, I've got West Ham.
Wow.
I initially had them a bit higher.
Oh God!
But I don't know. I'm not really sure, to be honest. I think they could finish a little bit higher. It's in particular David Moyes. I'm not a big fan of David Moyes. I don't think he's that good. Their defence last season, Alfie can probably correct me, but their defence for me, apart from Iguana, wasn't that great last season.
No, I'm agreeing with you on that one, to be fair.
Yeah, Diangana, if he stays, he'll be a good addition, like a new signing, because he's a very good player. Suke and Rice is a solid midfield. You've got Bowen. They've got a few decent players, but I think 16th is probably about right. They'll stay up. They'll probably be stable, probably a bit more comfortable than last year, but I don't know. I think there might just be a few better teams. So for me, I've got West Ham 16th.
Right, that's interesting.
God.
Owen,
I've got another interesting one. I've put Crystal Palace 16th.
Right, okay.
I think Wilfred Zaha is going to go this summer. I don't see him staying for another season.
It's good for
They've done all right business so far. Obviously, I can't say the names. Eze or Ez.
Eze.
Eze. I think that's an alright signing. Did well in the Championship last season. I don't think Eze is going to fill the hard boots. Nathan Ferguson's a good signing, but I don't think Roy Hodgson. I think Roy Hodgson is finished, and I think he's going to prove it this season.
Right, I said we weren't going to get into confrontations on this podcast. We just end up mice. I'll correct that when I've got my Crystal Palace prediction later.
Yeah,
Alfie, recover for who you got 16.
I have got Brighton 16th. This one I'm not sure on, but I do think they have become quite overrated over the summer. I don't think their signings are as good as some people have claimed they are. Yes, Veltman is a bargain, but he's also as good at football as me.
You know that, do you?
Yeah. Lallana isn't the player he once was, in my opinion. And I think he's quite injury prone, or he's a little bit injury prone as well. I just don't think he's particularly good at anything anymore, and I don't think he's a great signing, in my opinion. I do think White and Dunk, if they play that as essential as a centre back partnership, is an excellent partnership and one of the better ones in the league. But the thing I don't get is, as I'm saying, their centre back partnership is one of the best in the league. Their right back Lamptey is excellent. Their left back's a bit shoddy, but we'll mind that. So overall, they've got a good defence. Their attack, in my opinion, isn't very good. But the weird thing is, Brighton try and play like a possession, attack-based sort of football.
Oh no, at the end of the season they didn't. Jesus Christ, you can still see the ball going up in the air now.
Yeah, but we know what Graham Potter's like. He'll go back to his old, possession sort of style that he sort of tried to play yesterday against Chelsea. And I don't think Graham Potter's style suits Brighton's team. I think he's a good manager, but I don't think his style suits their team. They don't have enough going forward. Neil Maupay isn't as good as I thought he was going to be. He's a decent striker, but not as good as I thought he was going to be. And Leandro Trossard is a decent player, but about as threatening in front of goal as my shed. So, yeah, I've Brighton 16th.
This will come to a surprise for everyone, this sentence, but I agree with Alfie. Brighton, Hove Albion, will finish 16th. He did well to stay up in the end, Brighton, because they didn't win from about October to February, did they, or something mad like that.
No.
But at the end of the day, that coach, man, what an overrated manager. He becomes more overrated as the weeks go on.
It's Andy Howby too, isn't it?
Yeah, they ended up going down as well, so we'll see, won't we? To be fair, I think they've got a good defence, and the goalkeeper, I think, has taken some unfair slack lately. I think he's okay. I think so. They're good defensively, but I think that comes from Chris Hughton, where he drills into them for them 3.5-4 years. Going forward, like Alfie said, they have the attacking impetus of his shed or wherever. And at the end of the day, that Brighton, they'll have enough to stay up, because I think Leeds will run out of energy, and I think Villa are just rubbish, and the other two are rubbish as well. But at the end of the day, don't expect to do much from Brighton. They'll be okay, just okay though, and I'm not expecting a great deal from them. They're going to finish 7th now, I've said that, I'm fully aware, but at the moment I think the other teams are even more organised or got better players. So Brighton 16th. 15th, who have you got, Aaron?
Leeds United, I've got on 15th. Pretty much, it's the Marcelo Bielsa factor. I'm not saying he's amazing. Obviously, I saw your conversation the other day about Marcelo Bielsa being a fraud.
I didn't say he was a fraud.
I don't agree with that, but he's obviously a good coach. I'm excited to see what he can bring to the Premier League. However, to me, anyone putting Leeds above 12th, that's a push. Probably I've seen people putting Leeds higher. That's complete nonsense. Their squad isn't amazing. They've got some good players. Calvin Phillips is a very good defensive midfielder. I like Owen and Hernandez. Granted, he's old. Rodrigo will be an interesting signing, because he hasn't got an amazing goal scoring record. I can't say I know much about him, but he's clearly got some sort of reputation, considering he's played for Spain. So for 30 mil, we'll see how that goes. They were linked to Rodrigo de Paul today. If they get that, that's a fantastic signing to me. So, again, it could come down to who they sign in the window, but I don't think they'll finish any higher than 15th. I think the highest they'll be is 14th.
Right, okay. Just to be clear, I didn't call Marcelo Bielsa a fraud. I said he just didn't create passing and goal kicks and everything as everyone else like to say he does. He's okay, but he's not really pulled up many trees anywhere, has he? Except Leeds. Did okay at Bilbao, but wherever. Owen, who have you got 15?
I've also got Leeds United.
Okay.
But I think Bielsa's a good coach. Don't think he's amazing, but I think he's good enough definitely to keep them up. But it looks like they're doing some good business. Obviously, Rodrigo De Paul from Udinese, he looks an alright player. Don't know.
Are they going to be called Udinese B?
What? Oh yeah, Udinese B.
Come on, that's our thing.
What's it gone down? Someone's got to take the name. So yeah, I think they'll stay up really comfortably.
Right. So, yeah. I don't get me wrong. I've got them to stay up. I just don't think they'll do much more than that. Do you remember Hull years ago when they came up with Phil Brown? They were about 8th for Christmas, and he finished 17th. I think they're basically Phil Brown's Hull. That's all I'm going to say about them. Alfie, you got 15th.
I'm just gonna have to double check this. I have got Crystal Palace.
I said have your predictions to hand.
I do haven't really. I just weren't looking.
All right.
But yeah, I've got Crystal Palace 15th. It was a toss up between them and Brighton in 15th, 16th. Obviously, they scored 31 goals last season, which is tragic. But it didn't matter in the end because of their defensive record and how good they were up until the last 9 games. But I don't think they're great, despite what Kieran's brief CPFC on Instagram. Despite what he says, they aren't great. I know they beat Charlton and scored 3 goals, but so did Southend United. Yeah, I just don't think they're that great. Eberechi Eze is a great signing. Whether he'll be utilised correctly is a different thing. I don't think he's a Roy Hodgson type of signing. And I did see that he was actually playing on the wing yesterday, which I don't think is his best position at all. I think he should
play number 10. So,
well, Kieran said he was playing on the wing.
Not Kieran.
Because that's Kieran. Kieran thinks we're all out to get him. So, why don't you?
But anyway, if they use him in the correct position, number 10, I think he'll be a good player for them. On the wing, no. If they play too defensively, no. But I don't think Zaha will go. I don't see anyone paying the price tag they want. And I don't think he'll try and force the move as much as he tried last summer, if that makes sense. So in Zaha and Eze, they've got 2 really good players. But I think overall their squad is just average. The manager, I mean, really, he's 70 now. Get him to a retirement home. He shouldn't be a football manager anymore. I don't think he's a bad manager anymore, but I do think he'll be exposed a little bit this season. And I don't think Palace are that great, to put it politely. Up front, they still start Christian Benteke. Whether they'll start Ayew on the wing still or play Ayew up front, no matter what happens, if they start Benteke, who has the first touch of Maya Bush and the finishing of a carrot. Yeah, they shouldn't be starting Benteke in 2020. Let's just get it straight. And Ayew, he had a good season last year, and despite 2 goals he got against the mighty Charlton, I don't think he's that great. I don't think he'll score more than 5 this season. Unfortunately, Kieran, despite you claiming he's prime R9.
Oh, God. Right, okay. 15th, much to you have all got them really low, but Newcastle have got 15th, and that might be a bit too high to considering you've only bought Jeff Hendrick, isn't it? But
Yeah.
I'm trusting they'll bring in a few more, just enough to tide them over. I actually think they'll be really solid. I think they'll be Palace from last season in the sense that you hardly score any, but I think Steve Bruce will keep a lot of goals out again. I think Almiron and Maximin on the break can be dangerous, though I'm not really sure on either as top level players. Joe Linton, God love him, gets used terribly, but again, I'm not sure on him that much to be even make that much of a case for him. Martin Dubravka, despite the fact that people think he's the world's greatest goalkeeper, isn't really that great. The solid at the back, I think the centre backs are quite good. Wing backs, they need to bring a couple in, I think. Emil Kraft can't play, Jesus. But I think 15th, I think they'll be a bit lower than they were last season. But like Aaron said before, Steve Bruce has done a really good job there. And I think they won't dip enough to really be in trouble. I just think that they'll be in a little bit more trouble, but I think that'll be due to some of their luck, what they had last season, wearing off a bit. And I think the quality of the league in terms of some areas will have gone up. So I think Steve Bruce will struggle a bit more this season, but for as long as he's their manager, I expect them to stay in the Premier League and stay there quite comfortably, to be honest. On to 14th now. Aaron, who have you got?
At 14th, I've got Crystal Palace. Now, go back 2 weeks, and I've probably got them about around 17th, because just from looking on Twitter, there seems to be so much uncertainty. 1 minute they're in a relegation battle, 1 minute they're mid-table. I've now got them 14th, mainly because if he's used correctly, I think Eze is going to be a fantastic signing. He really impressed me at QPR. He's such a talented kid. If he's played as a number 10 or even just a little bit deeper, but he gets the freedom to create chances, I think he's going to be very good for them. Ferguson's a good signing. Roy Hodgson will continue to keep them solid defensively. For me, I think they have to sell Zaha, because while he's obviously a Palace legend, he's obviously a great player. He didn't show that last season, and they need to cash in, because they need to kind of get out of the phase of being Zaha FC. I don't think Benteke is as bad as people say in terms of what he brings to the system, but obviously in terms of goal scoring, he's not good at all. So it'll be a comfortable mid-table finish, and they need to basically get it right this season in order to push on after Roy Hodgson's left. But at the moment they'll be comfortably mid-table.
Okay, Owen, who have you got 14th?
I have Alfie's team, West Ham. I think West Ham
I'll
could
take
finish
it.
anywhere. So I'll probably get this prediction wrong. West Ham haven't signed a defender in about 2 years. I think it's something like that. I think Aaron Cresswell's a shocking footballer.
God, Sam Allardyce wanted him at Everton, didn't he? Jesus.
I think Mark Noble's still playing football in 2020. I think
Hang on.
Duchek's a good player. I don't think Michael Antonio's that good personally. And I know a lot of people disagree, obviously, at the lockdown form, but I just don't think he's that good. If you guess, I don't think Sebastian Haller, the tough case, because obviously in the Bundesliga, playing next to Luka Jovic, he's really good, but playing in the one striker formation for West Ham, he was shocking. So how he performed this season, anything could happen, but I don't think David Moyes is going to do that well this season. He's going to go December time, so I think West Ham are going to finish round 14th.
Right, okay. Alfie, you'll get your chance to respond to all that if you want, or you could just tell us you've got 14th.
In 14th, I have got Leeds United. I have been sucked into their hype a little bit. But I think the signing of Rodrigo, despite what Aaron said, I think it's a disaster of a signing, an embarrassment, and it's just a disgrace.
That's escalated. It was a bad turn to an embarrassment to a disgrace.
Honestly, the guy only has hype because he has pace on FIFA. His goal scoring record is it's terrible.
What I would say on that actually is I said the same thing about Raul Jimenez when he signed for Wolves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he did too.
Yeah, but there's a lot of examples of bad. Well, there's a lot of bad examples for that as well. His goal scoring record, let's be honest, it's no better than Colton Cole. So go off that with Will. He only gets a game for Spain because all their good strikers are past their expiry date.
Have you got anything good to say about Leeds, or are you just going to continue to defame?
I can respect that, to be fair.
This is just on Rodrigo. I think he's a shocking signing. I think Leeds fans need to actually look into his stats and the sort of player he is.
He's scored 25 goals now.
Yeah,
I would love to.
Here he is getting player of the season. But they need to sort of look into him a bit more before they start getting hyped. But for the rest of their team, I don't think it's that bad. I think you were quite disrespectful, Owen, to Marcelo Bielsa. I think he's quite
I
a good
wasn't
manager.
disrespectful. I just said he didn't create pattern.
He's a good manager. I think the Leeds documentary as well also showed the sort of how in depth he goes into his managing. Yeah, I think there might be, unfortunately, this is a bit of a off one. There might be another wave of COVID, and if that stops them, I'd have them higher. But if that doesn't happen, obviously I'll keep them 14th.
Come here for positivity. Alfie predicting a second COVID wave next March.
I think Calvin Phillips is a good footballer, and I think overall they're a decent team. You know, under good management, have a good style. I think that once again I'd predict them higher if we had all the fans all season. But I think they're a decent squad. Not many big names, but I think that's a good thing. And I think they'll do okay despite their lack of a good striker. So yeah, I've got them 14th.
Apart from defaming Rodrigo, Alfie seems to like Leeds a bit. Fine.
Oh no, I hate their fans.
Oh yeah, so do I. Let's just get this clear on Bielsa. I haven't said he's a terrible coach or he's a fraud. I just said he ain't all that. People say he's the best manager in the world and all that. He isn't. He likes to spy on teams. If that's your thing, then fine. I've got them 17th. I haven't got them to go down, so I know Leeds fans are just going to hate me all season and good because I'm ready for you. But anyway, 14th I've got Alfie's boys West Ham. I think they're going to be a lot better than last season. I think David Moyes, giving them a full year, that defensive solidity will no doubt drill into them after Pellegrini forgetting to turn up to training some mornings probably. I think they've got some good players. I disagree. I really like Mikel Antonio. I think he's good. I think if Moyes plays a 4-4-2 or 8-2 up front, him and Haller could really complement each other. Defensively, I don't think they're great, but I just trust Moyes to get them organised. I don't think they're necessarily got the best players, but I just think organisation's a big key, and I think they're going to be organised. As much as I trolled Alfie last February about Fabianski, he is a decent keeper. Full-backs aren't great, to be fair. Midfielders, Declan Rice I do quite like. I think he's okay. Good mover of the ball. Souček I really like. I think he's going to get so many goals off set pieces. So I think West Ham will be good. The thing I think will let them down is I think Moyes will be a bit too cautious at times, and not in the way of my spirit animals Burnley, but in the way of just devoiding the team of any type of impetus going forward. I think they'll do okay. I don't think they will be amazing, but I think they'll be good. Well, just good. 13. Aaron, who have you got 13?
In 13th, I've got Sheffield United.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's then I cannot see them having a similar season to the one they just had. Chris Wilder is obviously a very, very good coach. So just for the fact that Chris Wilder is in charge, I can't see them being in a relegation battle. I know Llewellyn said on Twitter yesterday that they'll be in a relegation battle.
He said that.
Yeah, I think I kind of see where he's coming from in that they don't have a great squad still, and there's the whole second season syndrome thing. However, they'll continue to keep out goals. They won't concede many. I think Ramsdale's a good signing. Albeit it's a bit overpriced, but I think he's a good goalkeeper. They will lack goals up front. I think personally Sheffield United should go all out for Ollie Watkins. I think him and McBurney up front would be a decent partnership. Sander Berge, he started slowly, but I think full season could see the best of him. So I think they'll be comfortably mid-table. They won't do any more than that, but it'll be a good solid season for Sheffield United.
Yeah, okay. Owen, who have you got 13?
I've got Brighton.
Okay. Well, that means Aaron's got Brian higher than 13. Jesus.
Yeah.
Go on anyway.
I don't blame him. I think Graham Potter's a quality manager.
Quality, define quality, because he's not done anything
Graham
that's
Potter.
quality.
Just put Graham Potter as the definition.
Right, okay.
I think Adam Lallana is a good signing on a free. I think he still has it if you keep him not injured. I think he'll be a cracking player. I think I'd have him
around our midfield.
Exactly, a lot better than our midfield. I think White and Dunn's obviously a quality partnership. Lamptey, quality fullback and actually put a few crosses in the box.
Who's going to score their goals?
I don't think Neil Morphy is that bad. I think he'll get double figures this season.
That's another thing. You can't say you didn't say that.
I thought he would be a
this on
good
record.
striker. I thought he'd
He
get
got double figures last year, to be fair to him.
Oh, did he?
I didn't say.
Just about.
He got 10.
Exactly.
We got 10 in the Premier League. That doesn't mean anything.
But I think Neil Morphy will get double figures this season, and I think they'll get a good mid-table finish.
Oh well. Right. Okay. Alfie, who have you got 13?
I've got my boys West Ham.
Your
I've got us 13th. I think it's the lowest I've ever predicted us, which is actually quite
Spencer
depressing.
Owen still got the mate.
Yeah. I've got us 13th. So we came 16th last year. Aaron's put us 16th again. But with a full season of Thomas Souček and Jared Bowen, there's no way we're going to be as bad as we were last season. That's how I see it. The fullbacks, the less said the better. They're the two worst fullbacks in the league in my eyes. Dumb and
Which I
Dumber.
said to you a year ago.
They're Dumb and Dumber. Get Ben Johnson in, but never play Ryan Fredericks again. He's literally a road runner. Has the first touch of Jimmy Savile.
Oh, no. And that. Alright, go
on. He's just not very good. Aaron Creswell, God, he's not very good either. He's lost any pace he ever had. Going
Did
forward,
he have pace?
Well, he was reasonable, to be fair to him. Going forward, he's not very good. His crossing's not very good, and defensively, he's not very good. So he's not good at anything.
Really, isn't it?
Ogbonna was incredible last season. It's got to be said, he was excellent. Diop had an off year, and to be honest, only one of our defenders was good last season, which is why we were so bad. But I think Diop will be sort of back to his best this season. I hope he is anyway. And if he is, then we've got a very good central defensive partnership. In midfield, I think Rice and Souček as a two is one of the better partnerships outside the top six, arguably the best. Souček is excellent. I think he'll get double digits for goals. He's good defensively. He runs more than anyone in the league, and he scores goals.
I literally see his check Marouane Fellaini.
Oh, he's better than Marouane Fellaini.
No, he isn't.
He is.
Marouane Fellaini was a quality midfield player.
He was not quality.
He was.
Not quality.
He
I
wasn't
think he scored
quality.
about 48 goals for us one year.
The only reason people think he's Fellaini is because he wins headers. He's a completely different player to Fellaini. But as I said, Rice is excellent, one of the better defensive midfielders in the league. Better than Calvin Phillips, if I don't say so. And then in attack, we've got a lot of good options. We've got on the wings, we've got Dean Garner coming back now, who is like a new signing, and he's an excellent footballer. He got 3 assists the other day, which, yes, it's in a friendly, but it's encouraging signs. We've got 4 now.
Who's the top end? Scored 3, Alfie.
No, we scored 5 that game, so hey. So yeah, we've got Dean Garner. Bowen's an excellent right winger, and when he's not playing, we've got Yarmolenko, who can get you goals.
With the best fucking on his left, I'm telling you, Karen Carney.
Yeah. Although he did score in his right yesterday, which was a surprise because that's usually just his standing foot.
Worst weak foot in the league.
I'm hoping that Haller is utilised correctly this season. I think at times he will be. I don't think he's an excellent footballer, but he obviously done very well in the Bundesliga, and you don't do that well with being a bad footballer, and I think if he's utilised correctly, he'll be great for us. And Antonio, I'm not sure why Doyle doesn't rate him. He's a very good grafter. Yes, he's not the best technically, but he scores goals. He can muscle people off the ball. He also does get a few assists as well, and he's great in the air. So we've got a decent overall team. David Moyes, I'm not sure how good he will be. He's got a point to prove this season, but the fact we are not going to spend any money by the looks of it, net spend, does show once again. GSB out. So I'll just finish with that.
Oh, these famous owners who apparently turned the corner a year ago. Mm-hmm. Never
Get them out.
Really. Right.
No.
13th, I've got much higher than all. Well, higher than all you. Crystal Palace. He seemed to be learning and finally back the manager who's been there 3 years now, and he's not spent a penny while he's been there until now. I think Eze was their first signing over 10 years, with over 10 million. I think since Sam Allardyce left the club and he's been left years. So they're looking like they're learning from some mistakes of the past. That they're actually trying to do some business now. If they get in the striker, I think they've been linked with Mateta from Mainz, who isn't great, but he's just another option, isn't he? Plus, Roy's a great coach. I think he'll organise them defensively again.
Mhm.
I think for as long as he's there, they won't drop out of the top 14, 15. So,
Really?
well, yeah, because he's a good coach.
Is he?
He's proven to be a good coach for about 40 years.
He's 70 now. I think it's time someone sits him down and tells him it's time
Yeah,
for
I
retirement.
agree with Alfie.
Well, Alfie's wrong, and this man took minnows of Fulham FC to a European Cup final.
Only to lose to Kike Sanchez Flores.
Well, we've all got that across the bed, haven't we? So, he's been to 2 European Cup finals, apparently. Andy was telling me the other day, El Pavotti, that he's a top coach. He gets back, they will probably even finish higher than where I've said. I think they're in a good season.
Great.
What was you saying? What was you saying?
They're just not very good.
But no, they've not been good because they haven't spent a penny since Sam
They're
Allardyce.
so challenging for Europe now.
Yeah, but the thing is, they've not spent a penny, but they've also sat on the line all game of every game. And if they do spend money, they'll start going forward, which will leave them open defensively, and they'll concede more goals. And Roy will get exposed. He's 70 years old.
These old coaches are going to school the likes of Graham Potter again. And we're going to be here this time next year having the same conversation. And Roy will be 80 by then, and we're still going to be having the same conversation. What a coach. Roy Hodgson, man. What a coach. 13th, I've got Crystal Palace. 12th, Aaron, who've you got 12th?
In 12th, I've got one of my 2 dark horses. Palace fans won't like this, and I certainly won't like it, but I've got Brighton Hove Albion in 12th.
Dark horses? Jesus Christ.
I'm going to echo a lot of what Doyle said, but I think Duncan White will be a very, very good partnership. I think Lamptey's got a very bright future. Lallana's a good signing for me on a free transfer, can't go wrong. Mopé, I think you two underrate him a little bit. I think, with a bit more support, I think he could do very, very well. In goal, Matt Ryan's a decent enough keeper. It was a toss-up for me between Brighton and Sheffield United for 12th and 13th. But for me, what sets Brighton apart from Sheffield United to put them a little bit higher is simply the fact that I rate Mopé. So, yeah, I think if they sign a couple more players that suits Potter's system, they really start making that transition. I'm going to stick my neck on the line and say they can challenge the top half at some point.
You said that last year, didn't you? You had to make
No. I said last summer when Potter was appointed, I said if they sign the players that suits his system, then he'll do well. And that starts by staying up last season, which they did.
Right, okay. The thing is, he could do well, but I just don't think he will, because I think
we will see, won't we?
We will see, and if Graham Potter does well again this season, I will say I'm gladly wrong about Graham Potter, but until I see more from Graham Potter is in the filed fraud category, and we will see. And by the way, I really appreciated the fact that his team post-lockdown at the lowest possession in the league. That's brilliant. But another year of expansive football at Brighton. So terrible they had to lose Chris Hughton, but okay. Owen, who have you got 12?
I've got Sheffield United.
Right, okay.
As Adam said before, I think second season syndrome's going to come in. Losing Dean Henderson's going to be key. I don't think Adam Ramsdale is anywhere near Dean Henderson. I don't think they have a striker that's going to get double figures. David McGoldrick's woeful.
He is, yeah.
Midfield, Sander Burge is a good player. Oliver Norwood's a good player, and you've obviously got John Fleck. But
John Fleck, what a footballer.
I think there's a few teams better in the mid-table category, like your Burnleys. So, get them soon.
Yeah.
Get them soon. So I think Chris Wilder's side's only going to finish 12th this season.
That's fair. Alfie, who's 12th?
Once again, I'm in agreement with Doyle. I've got Sheffield United 12th, but I don't think that second season syndrome at all. To me, second season syndrome for them would be a relegation battle or getting relegated. I think 12th would be excellent for them. I don't think their squad is probably in the top 12 in the league. I think they've got an excellent manager, an honest manager, and a manager who has made some very good signings. I really liked Sander Berge before he joined Sheffield United. He's been pretty average there, but towards the end of the season, he was starting to show why they bought him. And I really did think he was going to come to West Ham, but he didn't.
No one's going to West Ham House of Choice.
Berge and Fleck are two good midfielders.
Ollie Norwood, please, someone mention Ollie Norwood.
Fantastic
Ollie
defensive
Norwood,
midfielder, I should say.
I could watch
Ollie Norwood's a good midfielder as well. Defensively, they've got some excellent defenders. I think Chris Basham.
You're going to say Chris Wilder.
And what's the other one's name who they've got at the back? Yeah, him. He's an excellent defender as well. I think John Egan's a good player as well. Basically, they've got a good team, an honest team, and a team that will work for the manager. They back the manager. And I've heard they're going to be signing Ryan Brewster on loan. I think I don't think he'll suit the sort of system they'll want to play, but I think he'll get a few goals for them off the bench. And I think he's a decent signing. Once again, like Doyle said, I don't think Ramsdale, I'm not his biggest fan at all. I don't think he's anywhere near Dean Henderson. But, I'm happy to be proved wrong on that one. And I see Sheffield United finishing 12th.
I have to agree. I've got Sheffield United 12th as well. That's mainly because I just think that they lack a little bit of quality that teams who are above them have. I think I'm going to echo what everyone says, and I think Chris Wilder's a really top coach. I think he's one of the best managers in Europe at the moment, to be honest, if we're being honest at ourselves, looking at the coaches in Europe. I think we have to look at him being up there for what he's done at that club, and the fact that none of us think they're going to be in any relegation issues, and George Bulldog's still right wing back. So I think that's really a testament to him. I think Aaron Ramsdale, I think he's a good keeper. I don't think he's amazing, but I think he's just a solid keeper. I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be 12th. The only issue I would have with them dropping low is if they conceded more goals and they don't make the goals up, then they could drop down a bit further still. But I think they'll be fine as it stands. 12th would be a good season for them, no matter what anyone says. I think more positivity than negativity with Sheffield United. Aaron, who's finishing 11th?
I said earlier that a lot of teams could ride on what transfer window they have, and this team is the epitome of that. I should make it clear that obviously there's still 6.5 weeks after the window, but at this point in time, I've got Everton 11th. Just Jesus. Obviously, but the transfers that are probably about to happen will push them up the table, but at this point in time, they haven't signed. They get, Allen will be a good signing. Decore, I think, will be a good signing. Decore will be a good signing. You see, earlier there was a Decore. Yeah,
they're getting worse and worse.
They're getting so bad. But yeah, I think if you pair him with Allen, he'll be a good signing. James Rodriguez, on loan. If it's true that he's going to be a loan signing, that's a much better deal because obviously he's injury prone, high wages, and most importantly, he doesn't suit Ancelotti's 4-4-2. So if he's signed on a permanent deal, I think that'll be a really odd signing. Yeah, but if it's on loan, then it'll be a good deal. Jordan Pickford for me is terrible. I think he's the worst goalkeeper in the league. He's too erratic. He can be a good shot stopper, but ultimately he's too erratic. So effectively, at this point in time, I've got Everton 11th, but as soon as the impending transfers go through, I'm probably pushing up to top 9, top 8-ish.
Okay, Owen, who have you got 11th?
I've got your favourite team, Burnley.
My favourite team, yeah.
I'm obviously not a fan of Burnley, but I kind of miss Sean Dyche is a really good coach. Coaches Burnley really well. I don't like the style of football. You all know that, but it obviously does work. I think Chris Wood and Ashley Barnes is a quality partnership up front. if I was a defender, I would not want to go anywhere near them two. Ben, me and James Harkhouse, because he's like the best centre-back partnership outside the top six, I think. I think they're not good. Obviously, they got Dwight McNeil. Some player, Dwight McNeil. He's one of the players I really want at Everton.
Yeah,
He doesn't deserve to play at Burnley.
he does though. Does everyone?
He doesn't deserve it. He's too good for Burnley.
All right, okay. Alfie, have you got 11?
I'm starting to think me and Doyle have the exact same table because I also have Burnley 11th. I wouldn't be surprised if they get top half. I think this year I've took a very different approach to last year. I was going last year off style of football. I think I had them 15th again last year. But obviously Sean Dyche is a top manager. He gets results. I think Brownhill was a decent signing for them. He's a decent midfielder. They've got rid of a lot of the dead wood like Jeff Hendrick, who I think the fact that he's going to Newcastle. He's dead. He's shocking. The fact he's going to Newcastle sort of shows how
against Everton.
How low they've gone. They've got a good strike partnership in Wood and Barnes or whoever they play there. Rodriguez as well. I think they're just a very solid team. I think Taylor is a good left back. I think they've been rumoured to be in for Matty Cash. If they do sign him, that'll be another top signing. And obviously, as Doyle said, their centre-back partnership is arguably the best outside top six. Nick Pope is a phenomenal goalkeeper. If it wasn't for his ability on the ball, I think he'd be England's number one. But I don't think he will be. I think it'll be Dean Henderson. But overall, I think Burnley are a very good side.
Okay, this might surprise people. I said before we started recording that there weren't really too many shocks with my prediction, but I think this one is. 11th, I've got Leicester.
Leicester?
That's bold.
Yeah.
I don't think it's too much of a shock.
I think they're dog shit. If I'm being totally honest, I don't know how they finished fifth in the end because they're really bad, and I think that start of the season he had just proved what I've said for about 10 years, that Brendan Rodgers is Alan Pardew with an Irish accent. He'll have a good half of the season, then he'll just lose 20 out of 24. I've got them 11th, and I agree with what a lot of people have been saying in the Twitter replies, is that he won't be their manager come the summer. I'm probably really doing them down, but if Vardy gets injured, I know we say this about Vardy every year, but if Vardy doesn't play for a while, who scores the goals? Defensively, they've got good defenders, but will Rodgers, play to their strengths by defending well? I think they're in for a real struggle, and I think I might look an idiot come next May when they finish fifth again. But at the moment, I've got Leicester 11th. Have they done much business? I haven't really been following Leicester, but
no,
They haven't signed anyone yet.
No, and if they haven't signed anyone as well, and teams do some good business in and around them, then especially Everton, I don't think they'll finish higher than us. But we'll have to see. I think Leicester could easily prove me wrong, and I want them to. If that's what makes them happy, proving me wrong. But at the moment, I'm 11 for Leicester. Like I said, I just don't. Ben Chilwell went, so that's it. He might improve now because he's gone and he's terrible. But anyway, 10th place, Aaron.
In contrast to my Brighton prediction, you're going to actually like this one. In 10th, I've got Burnley.
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of their style aesthetically, but in terms of how it works, it obviously works for them with the players they've got. Dyche is an excellent coach. Burnley are the epitome of, a bunch of average players who work together. They're a bunch of grafters. I cannot see them being in a relegation battle under Dyche. They've been linked with Santa Maria, although I think he's off to Freiburg. But if they can get Santa Maria, that'd be an excellent signing. I agree with Tarkowski and me being one of the best centre-back partnerships outside the top six. Nick Pope is a very good goalkeeper. They've got quality in certain positions, but overall they're just a solid group of players. So I've at the moment got Burnley in 10th.
Right, okay. Doyle, who's you got 10th?
I've got Southampton.
Okay.
I think Hasenhüttl is another quality manager. I love his style of play. I think Alex McCarthy's shocking. I'm not a fan of Vestergaard.
No, I think they
I
do
think
need
he's
to
just a
improve.
massive cheat. Who's the other centre back? Jack Stevens.
Yeah, I think he improved towards the end of like
But
post lockdown.
Yeah,
but
the
I
good
think
season.
I think their centre back partnership will be Benrick and Salisu though.
yeah,
that's a good signing. That's Salisu.
No, I think Stevens will start.
yeah.
I don't think Jack Stevens is that good. Yeah.
Either way, though, I do think they're highly well drilled. So I really don't think it matter too much.
And I think Danny Ings is a quality striker.
Oh, we used to give that Southampton page terrible stick for him being rubbish, and he's actually really good.
I know. It's his injuries, and obviously a bit biased because he used to play for Liverpool, and he always scores past us as well.
Yeah, no, he's really annoying.
Southampton will finish top half.
Right, okay. Alfie, who's finishing 10th?
Once again, I'm going to agree with Doyle. I've got Southampton 10th.
Got my prediction.
Yeah, we pretty much got the same table at this point. But I think the one player who I do want to quickly not shout out, but I want to, predict that we'll do well this season is Che Adams. I thought he was awful last season, but if you watch towards the end of 1920, he actually started to improve a lot, and he's looked good in pre-season as well.
I never thought Alfie praised Che Adams.
No, that's an odd one, isn't it?
I know Parks just raised his eyes, but I would put I will say Che Adams. I'm just going to throw another prediction out here. He'll get at least 8 goals. I don't think Danny Ings will do as good as he did last season. I see him getting maybe 15, which is still a very good return if they can get 23 goals out of their 2 strikers. But yeah, I think they're a great team. Hasenhüttl, I've praised him before in this podcast on how good a manager he is. I think Ward-Prowse is a very good midfielder. I just think they're an overall good team. I don't think their team on paper is quite top 10 standards, but I think they've got an excellent manager and an excellent striker in Danny Ings.
Okay. In 10th place, I've got Everton. I'm not really convinced by anything we're doing at the moment, to be honest. I just think not really much future planning going on. It's just throwing more crap at the wall and seeing what sticks. As you can tell, I'm being quite negative, and he's apart from Aaron got everything above me. But I think we've got a horrific keeper. Again, we've buying good midfielders, so that gives us some 12%. But I like this. I like our strikers. I think they're good. I think in wide areas we lack real quality. Fullbacks, I love Luca Dean, but apart from him, there's not. Unkuku looked good actually in that pre-season, but right back, John Joe Kenny's abysmal. Coleman's not really what he was. Centre backs, I think we're okay, but again that relies on us defending quite deep. I just think we're going to be bang average, and James Rodriguez playing 4 games won't help us do anything more than that. I'm being quite pessimistic because I've lost faith in it all. I will say though, if we do sign the players we are, and they fit in, and they don't get injured, we could finish like 7th, 8th, but I think 10th's our limit at the moment, to be honest. We'll see, but I think at the moment I can't see us finishing higher than 10th, mainly because I just don't think we've got enough creativity in the team, and without that I just don't see us playing to our strikers' strengths. And plus keeping the goals out with the goalkeeper really worries me. And if we sign Sergio Romero, maybe 8th, but 10th at the moment. Aaron, who have you got 9th?
I've got Leicester City in 9th. I think they'll do a bit better than what you're predicting, but obviously they fell off massively in the second half of last season. I still think they've got a very good group of players, like on paper. For me, they've pulled Chelsea's pants down, getting £50 million for Ben Chilwell. I don't rate him at all. Apparently, they're getting Tagliafico for less money than what they got for Ben Chilwell, so that would be an excellent bit of business. They're still lacking options out wide. I do think Harvey Barnes is a decent player, but on the other side they've got like Damari Gray or Michael Bryson. For me, that needs to be So for me, that needs to be upgraded. I think David Brooks or Emi Buendia should be the favourites for them to sign because they fit in very, very well for me. So yeah, I don't think they're anywhere near as good as they did last season. The extra games with Europa League, sorry, that will probably take its toll. So they could finish higher, especially with the quality of the league. They could definitely finish higher, but I think 9th is probably about right at this point in time.
Yeah. So who's 9th?
I've got Everton.
Right. Okay.
I can just say exactly what you said. It's not looking good, is it?
No. I'm never confident, really, but
Neither am I these days. I think got good centre backs, but Jordan Pickford is a terrible keeper. Second worst in the league, I'd say. I think Kepa is a bit worse. John Joe Kenny's woeful. Bernard Duarte, I think's a terrible winger. He's useless. I think Alex Iwobi's a good player, but
he's terrible. I'll tell you right now, that guy's shocking.
He's good he's good in the middle, but I don't think he's a winger. Obviously, the strikers are doing well, but that midfield just puts me off putting everything any higher than 9th. I don't think it'll be a good season.
No, I agree. I've got us 10th mainly because of the keeper. I just think he costs us too many points.
Yeah.
Up front, like I said, we've got some good players, but I think ours was a lot lower. Ours was about 14th with Ancelotti, wasn't our manager, but that's just me being negative. Alfie, who have you got 9th?
9th, I have Everton. Once again, I'm in agreement with Doyle.
This is freaky.
Yeah, it is. I don't know what's happening here, but anyway, I have Everton 9th. I think the signings they're making is quite annoying to me because I really did want to put Everton quite low this year. But I think 9th is where they'll finish. This is if they might make the signings, by the way. I think Allen's basically a done deal now. You can basically say he's an Everton player. Rodriguez it can go either way. He'll either be an excellent signing or an absolute shocking signing. I'm hoping it's the latter. Decore, I've voiced my opinion on him. He's very overrated. He was Watford's 3rd best midfielder. He's not the player he's not been performing at a standard he was 2 years ago. And I don't think he's that great, if I'm honest. So yeah, I don't think he improves your midfield a lot. Allen does. Rodriguez could, but I don't think he suits your formation. It's definitely a weird signing. But overall, Everton have got a decent team. Despite the weird hate Everton fans seem to have towards Calvert-Lewin, I'm not too sure why.
I don't get that.
He had a good season last year, as did Richarlison, who's obviously your best player. So I think overall Everton are a decent team, good going forward. The keeper, Christ, the less said about him the better. But Everton 9th.
Yeah, in 9th I've got my signature team, Burnley. But I think it's all been said. The job Sean Dyche does there every year is incredible. I think he's been linked with some good players, which has made me put them 9th. And now I'm risking it that they'll sign some of these players. Matty Cash, Baptiste Santa Maria, some good players. If you sign Joe Worrell, I think people love telling me he's terrible, but he adds more cover than Kevin Long. Nick Pope's a great keeper. McNeil I really like. The strikers are really good. The home record's really good. He loves to nick a 1-0 away win and it's terrible. So with all that in mind, I think Burnley will finish 9th, and I think it's just a testament to why this manager's an unbelievable coach. We'll see if he gets given a chance for another club. I doubt it. But anyway, I'll still be here banging the drum. So Burnley 9th. 8th, Aaron.
In 8th, I've got the other dark horse for me, and that's Southampton.
They ended the dark horse in 10th.
I wouldn't say so. They did well last season. They finished 10th or 11th. So I wouldn't say they're necessarily a dark horse. But Southampton for me in 8th definitely are. They ended last season very well. Their away record's outstanding. if they can improve the home form, which I think they've got to be honest, they can't do any worse than they did last year at home. And if they manage to improve that, then I think that they could definitely challenge for Europe. I'm a big fan of Danny Ings. I'm a big fan of James Ward-Prowse. I think he's a very good midfielder. As much as Southampton fans seem to say on Twitter, I think Højbjerg will be a loss. But I think Romeo is probably a decent enough replacement. He's a solid defensive midfielder. I like Djenepo. I think he's got talent. Nathan Redmond's a decent winger. So overall they've got a good solid squad. I really like Hasenhuttl. I think he's one of the top coaches in the league. I agree with Alfie. I think Che Adams will do well next year. And they've also released with Danny Welbeck, who if they can get that done, I think he'd be another good option up front. So overall they've got a good squad. They play a nice brand of football, and I think they could definitely challenge for Europe. So I've got Southampton 8th.
Yeah. So Lucy, guys.
I've got Wolves. I'd like to put Wolves a bit higher, but I think their lack of squad depth's going to really kill them this season. I think selling Matt Doherty is a bad idea, but if they're going to get Ainsley Maitland-Niles to replace him, I think that's a good signing. I think Connor Cody's an excellent centre-back. So is Willy Bolly. I think Raul Jimenez is a top-class striker.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. Alfie, who have you got 8th?
For once, I'm not in agreement with Doyle on this one. I've actually got Leicester 8th. If I'm honest, if I wanted to put them a bit lower because second half of the season they were shocking, but I just couldn't, because on paper their squad is excellent, and the first half of the season they were really, really good. I think they'll regain a bit of the form they had in the first half of that season. As Aaron said, selling Ben Chilwell and getting Tagliafico, a player who is twice as good as Ben Chilwell, for half the price, is excellent business. Indeed, he's a fantastic defensive midfielder. Almost as good as Declan Rice. But overall, their midfield is quite good. I don't think Jamie Vardy will have anywhere near a season as good as he did last year. I think he is starting to come to an end. Towards the end of the season, his goal record wasn't that great. But I think he'll score enough goals, at least 15 to 20. Their defence is okay. I think Soyuncu is a good defender. Evans is definitely a decent defender. And for me, Ricardo Pereira is one of the most underrated players in the league. I think he's an excellent right back. Question marks over who will be at left back at the moment. But if it is Tagliafico, excellent. If it's Fuchs, oh no. But overall, Leicester have a good defence, a good midfield, a good striker. They're not good in the wing positions, but I think they'll be okay.
Right, A5 have got Southampton. I think it's just a repeat what everyone else has already said about them. I think they're a really good team. They're really well coached. I think Ralph's a great manager. I just look at them and think, for as long as he's there managing Danny Ings as up front, and he pressed the way they have been playing, then I can't see why they can't be top 8. I think if they buy Salisu as well as a centre back, has that already been done, or is it just
that got confirmed a while ago.
Right, okay, so there we go. He's a good centre back. I still think Ryan Bertrand's pretty good considering he's about 48, but yeah, I think Alex McCarthy isn't great, but I think he's always susceptible to having one of those games where he's just brilliant, and it's inexplicably so. But I'm not a fan of Che Adams either, by the way, but I think we'll just have to trust that with Ings and Ward-Prowse, and I think Stuart Armstrong as well, no one's mentioned him, but he's pretty good. And Djenepo, I think they'll be top 8. They could easily finish 7th as well, or 9th, or wherever. I think they're a good team, great manager, and I think only good things for them. 7th place, Aaron.
In 7th, I've got Wolves. Now, I'll admit I could get this horribly wrong because they probably will struggle with squad depth. I know I said that last year, and they didn't really. But yeah, I think they should have enough for 7th. The last 2 seasons, I've had them 11th, and they've gone to finish much higher. So no, my luck, I'll put it to 27th. I'll finish 11th. But yeah, they've got a lot of quality in their squad. Raul Jimenez is an excellent striker. I think they need to sign competition for him, but he's a good player. I like Moutinho. Jota has been inconsistent, but he's still a good winger. Adama Traore, if he keeps it up, he's a very good winger. So yeah, overall they've definitely got the quality to challenge the top 6, but it's a question of will they have the squad depth and the consistency to actually do it. So I think 7th is probably about right, but I do think they'll be close to 6th as long as they sign the right players.
Yeah, and Doyle, if you've got 7.
I've got Spurs.
Oh,
I think they obviously have Europa League qualifying now, and I'll be very shocked if Harry Kane doesn't get injured soon. I'm pretty sure Tottenham don't have a second striker apart from Troy Parrott, who don't think he's ever played the game for Tottenham.
He's gone on loan to Millwall.
Oh, he's one on loan, hasn't he? I don't even know who the second striker is.
They don't have one.
Leeds Troy Deeney.
Well, to get Troy Deeney, I think they could finish a lot lower than 7th.
We'll do that thing with what Conte did at Chelsea in this last year and just try and buy every tall striker going. Crouch, Barnes, Deeney, whoever.
Yeah.
And I don't think Doherty will really suit their system.
Right, okay. Sure.
Yeah, I think they'll come 7th.
Okay, that surprised me. Alfie, you 7.
Well, me and Doyle are definitely not agreeing now. For the 3rd year running, I've got them right the last 2 years, and I have no real reason to change it. I've gone for Wolves 7th. I just think they're that team that's not really good at, well, they almost got it, but they're not really good enough for the top 6, and they're no worse than the Shockers that are below them, below 7th. When you know how good a player is, judging by like how the fear factor when they're playing against you. Whenever I see Adama warming up to come on against West Ham, I turn the TV. No, I don't actually, but you know what I mean. You hate playing against Adama Traore, and I thought he was fantastic last season. Raul Jimenez is an excellent striker. A player who really surprised me because his goal record before Wolves wasn't very good. I think, what's his name? Neto. He's a brilliant young player. He scored a great goal against West Ham, and I think he's one of the better young attackers in the league. Jota's also a good winger, despite his poor season last season. And Podence is also a good winger. So in the wings and up front, they've got brilliant players. João Moutinho is aging like fine wine. He's an excellent midfielder. Ruben Neves, I'm not his greatest fan, but I'm told by my good friend Alex in the Soggy Biscuit group chat that he had an excellent season last season. Connor Cody, he got an England call-up recently. Not the best defensively, but he's excellent in a back three. His passing out from the back is one of the better options in the league, if you like. I think I've heard too much about Willy Bolly from Alex, who's apparently one of the better defenders in the league. I don't watch enough of Wolves to know if he is, but every time I watch him, he seems to be good, apart from against Everton, where he was catastrophic. And Johnny
makes a change.
Yeah. And Johnny is an excellent wing back. Despite him being right-footed, he looks really comfortable on that side. And I do have a feeling they might end up buying a left wing back and moving him over to right wing back this season, with the absence of Doherty. So don't be surprised if that happens, and I'm calling it here first. And Rui Patricio is also a very good goalkeeper. So overall, Wolves are a good side. They have a good manager who I have a feeling this will be his last season as Wolves manager. But for the moment, they're definitely a club that will get 7th.
Yeah, I've got Wolves 7 too. I've been like Aaron the past couple of seasons and I've had them quite low. But I really like Wolves, as everyone knows who reads anything I say. I think they're up front, they're really, really good. I think they've got so much quality up there, and I think defensively they're well organised like Burnley are. So I think with that extra what they've got up front, that pushes them to 7th. I did have them 6, until about 3 hours ago, which I then changed to I've got 6. But yeah, Wolves 7. Aaron, top 6 now.
In 6th, this team is probably the one I'm torn on the most, and that's Spurs. I personally don't think they've got a lot of quality, mainly in defence. Obviously, Harry Kane's a world-class striker. Sonnenberg, one of good wingers. They've got decent midfielders. Obviously, the future of Endo Bennis is still up in the air, but he's a good midfielder if they can utilise him correctly. So overall, they should have enough to finish in the top 6. What I would say, I don't know how controversial this opinion is, but for me, Matt Doherty's a terrible signing, because you got to consider he's played as a wing back for Wolves, and his best traits seem to be last minute runs into the box to get on the end of crosses or whatever. But at Spurs, he'll be a fullback in the Mourinho team. So for me, I think that could work out really horribly. They've got him at a good price, to be fair to them, but I think from both sides, Wolves have let go one of their better players for a pretty low price. The Spurs have got a player that I don't think will suit their system whatsoever. So that's a weird one, and they could be suspect defensively. They could have an average to poor season in the league, but I think they could win a trophy next season, and that's pretty much what Mourinho was brought in for. I think it's very much a short-term fix, but Pochettino did excellently, but didn't win a trophy. So for me, Mourinho's effectively the opposite. He won't do great in the league, but he'll win a trophy. So that's what I'll say for Spurs.
Right, Doyle, who've you got 6th?
I've got a very debatable one, and I've got Leicester City. I think Rodgers is a lot better than you give credit, Owen. And obviously they've sold Chilwell. I think that's great business. Soyuncu and Johnny Evans is a quality partnership, but I think if one of them get injured, the third centre back's Wes Morgan. He's about 40. Feels like anyway.
He's also got about 40 pace.
Exactly.
Jesus.
And Pereira's back from injury now, so I think that shows the defence up. And as you say, every season you think Vardy's going to stop scoring, but I think he's got another season in him, and I think that will give Leicester top 6.
Right, I completely disagree, and I've got them 11th as we heard before, but we can't all agree.
One doesn't be wrong.
You and Alfie. So who have you got 6th, Alfie?
Well, I was in agreement with Doyle on pretty much everything, but the last few predictions he's thrown out have been pretty peculiar, to say the least. I certainly don't have Leicester 6th. That is never happening, despite them getting 5th last year. Well done, Brendan. I've got Arsenal 6th, a club whose style of football it has really impressed me lately. I think the goal they scored, their opening goal yesterday against Liverpool, was a really good passing move. And if you can get Mohamed El Neni involved in a good passing move, then you're doing well. So I think their style of football is going to be in one of the better teams in the league, but I just don't think they'll grind out results as well as they did, as well as Spurs will. Towards the end of the season, they lost to Aston Villa, and I think those are the sort of games they will lose when they can't sit back and just sort of build their way up the pitch. They're having to go all out, and they just aren't creative enough. I don't think they have any excellent creators, and I think that will stop them from getting top 6. Not top 6, sorry, from moving higher up the league. I don't think Granit Xhaka is a great midfielder, despite Arsenal fans suddenly jumping on the Granit Xhaka hype train. But in Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, they've got, in my opinion, a striker who's in the top 3 in the division. And I think he'll get them a lot of goals. And I just see them coming 6th, maybe 3 or 4 points off who I have in 5th.
Yeah, I've got Arsenal 6th too. I think what Arteta's done actually has made them more resolute than if anything, because beforehand they were with Emery, they were quite weak. I think Arsene Wenger, for years they were quite a soft touch, especially for the likes of Stoke, who used to bully them every game. But I think Arteta's made them a bit more streetwise. I think a bit more tough. I think Aubameyang, he's an excellent goal scorer. I think defensively, I don't think they've got great defenders, but Gabriel's supposed to be coming in. Good defender. I think Leno's a decent keeper, as is Martinez. I've got them 6th only because, like what Alfie said, I'm not a big fan of any of their midfielders. So we'll see. Aaron, who have you got 5th?
I've got Arsenal in 5th. And I think Aubameyang's obviously a world-class striker. He's one of the best strikers in the league. If they can finally tie him down to a new deal, that'll be a big boost. Saka is one of the best youngsters in the league. He's excellent. Pepe, I think, will do a lot better than last year. He showed a bit more consistency towards the second half. So I think with another full season, he'll really start to adapt and do well. Tierney's a very good left back. Saliba is supposed to be a good left centre back, as is Gabriel when he's eventually signed. I like Leno. I think he's one of the best keepers in the league. I do agree that their midfield is a little bit suspect. I think Xhaka has done well recently, but he's not great. Neither is Torreira if he stays, and Ceballos. I don't know if he's going to sign a permanent deal. And then you've got the manager Mikel Arteta, who I don't like him being compared to some of the better managers in the league, just because he hasn't been managing for a long time, but he continues to prove how good he can be. Say what you like about the Community Shield, but ultimately he's won 2 trophies already. So he's been smart with his system, because I think it's clear he wants to play a nicer style, but he doesn't, in particular in defence at the moment, he doesn't have the players to do that. I saw a tweet earlier on that says if Mikel Arteta was named Mike Allen, the football Arsenal player yesterday in the Community Shield would be labelled as pudisball and anti-football.
Oh, that's brilliant. Who said that?
Someone called the Chelsea DNA.
Of course.
So yeah, I do agree with that. It's not been amazing on the eye, but that's mainly down to the players he's got, in particular in defence. I think once he gets Gabriel and Saliba playing regularly, they'll strike up a good partnership, and they'll have enough to finish 5th.
Right. Doyle, who have you got 5th?
I've also got Arsenal. There's not much to say after adding to what's said, but if they do a good window, gave Saka a new contract, they'll like to give Aubameyang a new contract soon. Gabriel's obviously a quality signing, but if they sign a few midfielders, I wouldn't be shocked if they finished a bit higher. But with the business they've done already, I think they'll finish 5th.
Right. Alfie?
In 5th, I've got Tottenham. I don't think they're that great. I think they're solid enough. Mourinho's done well since he came in. They've got, in my opinion, the second best striker in the league in Harry Kane. I think they'll score enough goals. They'll be okay defensively once Mourinho makes a couple more of his type of signings. And I just see them finishing 5th.
Right, great. 5th, I have got Man United. I think that they're good, but I worry about the manager. I think they've got a really good team. The forward, I think I'm not a fan of Martial, but I think Rashford and Greenwood are really good. Midfield's really good. I think Bruno and Pogba link up really well together. The back four's decent. The keeper's a bit suspect, but now he's got Henderson to push him. But the manager, I'm not really convinced on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I think even though he did excellently to finish 3rd, I worry now about how if he can keep her up when teams start sitting back more against Man U, because they were like 9th or something in February after barely beat them. So we'll see how they get on. I've got them 5th at the moment, mainly because the manager, but we'll see. 4th, Aaron?
I've got Man United in 4th, and I think their midfield is very, very good, apart from Nemanja Matic, who's not bad, but I think they need a better defensive midfielder. They need that kind of a shield for the back four to allow Pogba and Fernandes to get forward and create their chances. I think Rashford and Greenwood are two very good wingers. Martial's done very well towards the second half of the season. I do agree that Solskjaer's a suspect as their manager, and if we're being honest, they need to get rid of him sooner rather than later. Their defence is okay. I'm not sure Maguire suits their system, in all honesty. I think he suited Leicester a lot better. Wan-Bissaka's a good right back. I think they need to upgrade Luke Shaw and Victor Lindelof, but overall they should definitely have enough for 4th. What I would also say though is the 3 teams that I've said for 4th, 5th and 6th, they could really be in any order. But yeah, I think I'm going to lean towards Man United for 4th.
Cool. Doyle, have you got 4th?
I've also got Man United. I think they've got a quality team. It's one of the best in the league, but obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, pretty poor manager, and I think that's going to hold them back. They still need a few more signings. Don't know if they're going to sign Jadon Sancho. If they do, then fair play. They could finish a bit higher, but I still think they need another left back and another centre back. Maybe a DM. Maybe someone like Declan Rice.
Yeah, that'll be a world class signing for them.
But yeah,
yeah, okay. Alfie, have you got 4th?
In 4th, I have Man United, same as Doyle and Aaron. For me, I after lockdown they were playing some really nice football up until like the end of it all. I think Bruno Fernandes has started to show that he isn't the player who some people thought he was. He is an excellent player, don't get me wrong, but he does have quite a few off games, and to me, he needs to stop shooting from 40 yards and doing all these lob passes he keeps trying to do, and just keep it simple like he was when he first came into Man U. Overall, Man United have got a decent team. I don't think the defence is that great, although it did have a good clean sheet record last season. Defensively, Aaron Wan-Bissaka is excellent. Going forward, he's like Peppa Pig on the ball. But overall,
Loving this comparison.
overall, they've got a good defence. A decent defence, a very good midfield, and an attack which has so much potential.
Cool. Fourth, I've got everyone's favourite team, Chelsea. For as much as they're doing great business, and I think that going forward they're going to be really exciting. I don't see how Malang Sarr and Thiago Silva are going to solve all their woes defensively, and I just think they'll end up conceding loads and scoring loads. And Lampard again, I'm not 100% on him either. Fourth, I think is fair, but I think they'll have to buy a really top centre back and a top keeper for me to put them third. And I don't think Ben Chilwell's particularly brilliant either. So I would be really happy if they bought Kai Havertz because I think he's a top player. Werner's good and Ziyech is good. I think he'll be good, but I don't think they'll have improved on what they needed to do all along. But third, Aaron, who have you got?
I was going to say I was confident that we'd all have Chelsea third.
Never.
I'm confident. Alfie and Doyle probably will have Chelsea third, but I think they've pretty much won the transfer window at this point. If we're being honest,
I've heard that one before.
Apart from Ben Chilwell, who I don't think is a good signing, certainly not for the price. Thiago Silva, while he's old, he may not solve their problems, but I think he's a good signing. Ziyech, Werner, and Havertz, if you get that done, those are going to be three very, very good signings. They'll score more than Man United. They'll probably keep out more goals than Man United, so I don't know if that's controversial. I think at the very least they should just have too much in attack, which is why I got Chelsea third.
So, Doyle, have you got Chelsea third too?
I do, yeah. I think, as Adam said, that attack is looking really good. They've won the transfer window, I think you can fairly confidently say that. And I think they're looking a lot better than Man United. So I think they'll easily get Champions League.
Yeah, Alfie, have you got third?
So, actually, Aaron, I don't actually have Chelsea third. I've gone quite controversial. I've gone for Liverpool. No, I haven't. I've got Chelsea third. To me, they're just the third best team in the league. Well, I mean, that's a Michael Owen quote, but I've just gone for Chelsea third. I think that they've definitely won the transfer window. Abramovich, once again, has got his money out. They've spent a ridiculous amount. Werner will be a good signing, but I don't think he's quite as good as some people believe he is. Ziyech is a brilliant footballer and an upgrade on Willian, despite what Don Robbie from AFTV thinks. And I think Thiago Silva, another good signing. He's very old, but will probably be in the top 5 to top 3 defenders in the division. And if they are to sign Declan Rice, that'll be another excellent signing. So overall, Chelsea have built themselves a good team. Fat Frank as manager, I'm not sure on him yet. He moved Derby from 6th to 6th, and he moved Chelsea from 3rd to 4th. So he's done a great job so far, Fat Frank, and long may it continue.
Wonderful stuff. Third, I've got Tottenham Hotspur, which Alfie predicted this morning.
Yeah.
I absolutely love Jose Mourinho, and if I didn't have Tottenham third, I'll be doing the fan club a disservice. So I think as long as they keep their best players fit, I think they'll be so good defensively. I disagree with Aaron. I think they'll find a way to just keep goals out, and I don't know how, but it's Jose surely. I just look at them and I think if you can keep your players fit, I think they will be third, and I'm going to put my neck on the line and think they will be third. I think they'll win the trophy as well. I think it's going to be Jose Mourinho season, and we're all going to look at an idiot in May. Well, you are anyway, when he finishes third and wins a trophy. But second, Aaron.
Alright, we're getting to the top two now. So this could definitely be one of the most controversial opinions, but I've got Liverpool second. They've obviously got a world-class team. I think if they manage to get Thiago, that'd be an excellent signing. He offers what Klopp wants in terms of work rate, but he's a bit more technically gifted than the likes of Henderson or Milner. I think Firmino's still a very good defensive striker, as Liverpool fans love to say on Twitter.
Second centre backs as well.
Yeah. For me, Liverpool second says more about the quality of City, which we'll get to. So I've got Liverpool second.
Yeah, Doyle, who've you got second?
I've also got Liverpool second. As Adam said, I just feel like they lack that creative midfielder that Man City have in De Bruyne. I think if they signed Thiago, they could easily win the league, but obviously they haven't signed Thiago yet, so I'm going to put them second. I just think City have too much quality for them this season.
Cool. Alfie?
Yeah, of course, Man City definitely have too much quality for them, considering they finished about 35 points behind them, but we'll move on from that. I've got Man City second. To me, they're just not as good as Liverpool. I think Guardiola's the most overrated coach in the world. I'm going to get ridiculed for that, but I think he is.
No, Bielsa's beaten.
Yeah, maybe I was a bit drastic with that one, but he's overrated. He spends so much money, yet hardly ever wins the Champions League, so, that's all you have to say about him.
He has won it twice, I
think he's won it once.
He's won it twice.
Well, he can only do it with Lionel Messi, and they're not going to be signing him this summer. I just don't think Man City are as good as Liverpool. I just don't think they are. They bottle it too much. I think they're a disgrace for the way they went out in the Champions League, and I just don't think they're as good as Liverpool. I like the fans, but I think by the point, without David Silva as well, I think they're only getting worse. I think they lack a really good central defender other than Laporte. I don't think Ake is quite that player. If they sign Koulibaly, maybe they might win the league, but I don't think they will. And to me, they just aren't defensively good enough. They're too naive against smaller teams at times. And I think they'll get caught out this season. And I think Liverpool will definitely finish above them.
Okay, I've got Liverpool second. I did have Liverpool top for a while until I think people are just getting sort of hyped about Man City again. I think if they sign Messi, they'll just be too good. I just think at the moment that Liverpool, I think they finished so many points ahead last season. I just think with the pressures on them to go and win it again, having just won it so comfortably, are they going to cope the same way Man City did when they won it by so much? I just don't think they will. I think Man City will pip them this season. I think obviously Liverpool are a great team and they could well win the Champions League and not win the league, or vice versa, or both. But I just think this season they're just going to be pipped to us slightly. And I've got no particular reasoning behind that. I just think it'll be a lot closer again. And I just think Man City, if they can keep their team fit for a year and not have Laporte injured all the time, I think they'll just have enough over Liverpool, just for Liverpool second. So, Aaron, why are Man City going to win the league?
I don't want to take any credit away from Liverpool last season, but I do think the reason they finished so far ahead of City is down to the fact City won it twice in a row, the first time very, very comfortably, and it must be so difficult to keep that up for 3 seasons running. I think in terms of quality, particularly in midfield, they're a lot better than Liverpool. With Kevin De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva, you can't get much better than that in the league. I think Ake is a good signing. I don't think he should be starting for them if they get Koulibaly, but I think he's a good enough signing. And if they do, granted it's very unlikely, but if they manage to get Messi, I think you should handle the league title there and then, because they'll just be too good.
Yeah, Doyle.
I agree with everything Adam said. If they get Lionel Messi, then the league's just over. I still think they need a left back. I don't think Mendy's that good. Zinchenko isn't City standard. Don't think Nathan Ake can play left back for City. If they get a good left back and Lionel Messi, then they're just going to walk the league.
Cool. Alfie, why are Liverpool going to win the league?
Liverpool are going to win the league because Lionel Messi will not be signing for Man City. They're less naive than Man City are. I think they'll be better in big games. I think Man City will be opened up against the likes of Chelsea and the likes of Liverpool this season. I think Man City will lose. Well, bit of a Michael Owen quote again. I think Man City will lose more games than Liverpool will. and I think overall they're just too tactically naive. I just don't think they're good enough at times against the smaller teams. I think Company was a big loss for them because I think they lack a real leader on the pitch now. I'd like to see their Amazon documentary now because apparently after the Lyon loss, Guardiola didn't even talk to the team. So whether he was just playing up to the cameras for those 2 seasons, we'll never know. But I just think Liverpool are better than them. I think Liverpool have got too many good players going forward. You know, they've got Firmino, who is a defensive right back, sort of centre back, striker, left winger sort of player. And I think the wingers are excellent. I think the wingers are the 2 best wingers in the league, unless Lionel Messi joins, which is about as likely as me joining Peterborough tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Messi's going to City now.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to Peterborough.
Right.
Good signing.
Yeah, I'm a good fullback.
Okay. I've got Man City top again. I think, like I've said before, I think they've just got too much quality. I think, again, as much as Alfie says it's not going to happen, Lionel Messi could easily end up for Man City, in my opinion.
How?
I just think it's going to be such a fun year for that top 2. If Messi doesn't join, I think it's still going to be really close. If Messi joins, I think it'll be not 30 points, but about 10 points in City's favour. As much as Pep Ball isn't my thing, I don't think you can say he's overrated at all. His teams are really good to watch, and you know, if they can keep Laporte fit the whole season, then it'll be brilliant for them. That brings the end to the podcast. Just so we're clear, can we just read out our teams from bottom to top? I'll start. 20th, I have Fulham. 19th, I have West Brom. 18th, I have Aston Villa. 17th, I have Leeds United. 16th, Brighton. 15th, Newcastle. 14th, West Ham. 13th, Palace. 12th, Sheffield United. 11th, Leicester. 10th, Burnley. 10th, Everton. 9th, Burnley. 8th, Southampton. 7th, Wolves. 6th, Arsenal. 5th, United. 4th, Chelsea. 3rd, Tottenham. Liverpool, then City. Aaron?
20th, I've got Fulham. 19th, West Brom. 18th, Aston Villa. 17th, Newcastle. 16th, West Ham. 15th, Leeds. 14th, Crystal Palace. 13th, Sheffield United. 12th, Brighton. 11th, Everton, subject to their transfers going through. 10th, Burnley. 9th, Leicester. 8th, Southampton. 7th, Wolves. 6th, Spurs. 5th, Arsenal. 4th, Man United. 3rd, Chelsea. 2nd, Liverpool. And 1st, Manchester City.
20th, West Brom. 19th, Fulham. 18th, Newcastle. 17th, Aston Villa. 16th, Crystal Palace. 15th, Leeds United. 14th, West Ham. 13th, Brighton. 12th, Sheffield United. 11th, Burnley. 10th, Southampton. 9th, Everton. 8th, Wolves. 7th, Spurs. 6th, Leicester. 5th, Arsenal. 4th, United. 3rd, Chelsea. 2nd, Liverpool. And top, Man City.
Alfie?
20th, Fulham. 19th, West Brom. 18th, Newcastle. 17th, Aston Villa. 16th, Brighton. 15th, Crystal Palace, subject to Roy Hodgson not going to a retirement home. 14th, Leeds United. 13th, West Ham United. 12th, Sheffield United, subject to Chris Wilder not having a stroke. 11th, Burnley. 10th, Southampton. 9th, Everton. 8th, Leicester. 7th, Wolves. 6th, Arsenal. 5th, Spurs. 4th, Manchester United. 3rd, Chelsea. 2nd, Man City. And for the 2nd year running, Liverpool first.
Right, okay. That was really enjoyable, guys. Cheers for that.
Yeah, no worries.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me on.
we'll no
Thank
doubt,
you for having me on as well.
yeah, no doubt we'll be hung, drawn and quartered next year when Brighton finish fourth and, Everton will be finishing bottom and Lionel Messi joins Man City and Declan Rice is at Man United and Alfie hates him. So until
And
then,
that I can get on board with.
that I can. Until then, thanks guys, and we hope you've enjoyed this podcast and see you later.